Hey, what's up? I'm Jordana. Yes, some of y'all have been pronouncing my name wrong for 5 years. It's cool. I go by Jordy or Mama J or some other more and less flattering names, but mostly Jordy. I have been playing WoW off and on, mostly on since 2006. I am an officer in the second longest continuously running women only guild in World of Warcraft. And I'm largely a rogue player, or was. So I got started in hardcore in late February of 2020, so very early on. Very early on. There was a variety streamer that I was friendly with who lived locally, and that's how I got to know her. And she knew I played World of Warcraft. She didn't stream it much. She said the community's too toxic, whatever she said. But there's this new thing. There's this new thing called hardcore. If you die, you delete your character. You play solo the whole way up, and if you die, you delete your character. I said, nope, I'm gonna watch you do it. I'm gonna watch you do it because no, that's way too hard. I can't. But I watched her, and from there, I met other people that were doing it, and I just got curious. I said, I gotta try it. I'm not gonna make it past level 10. I'm great at raiding. The leveling, I die constantly. It's fine. It's fine. And so I started a paladin in February. And I didn't stream it or record it, which is what you had to do to be verified back in the day, but I just knew there was no way I was making it to 60, so why bother, right? I got past 10, 11, 12, 13. I went to Westfall, right? You get quests out of Elwyn to go to Westfall. 13, perfectly fine. In hardcore, it's not perfectly fine. I pulled 2 coyotes, and it was too many. And so I started to run and pulled a third and a fourth. I think there were 5 following me by the time I died. But you know what? My brain lit up. I sat there and looked at the dead character on the screen and went, oh, I can do better. I can do better. And so I started Googling. How do I record my play? How do I stream my play? What do I need? Went out the next day, bought an Ethernet cable. Went out and bought an app to use my old my old phone as a camera. And I started my Twitch channel. And Lord, I died a lot, a whole lot, until. But we'll get there. Back in those days, it was just so much smaller, and you knew what everybody else was playing, and you cared about everybody else's characters almost as much as your own, right? And so that's why it's hard for me when Winky said, well, name 5 people who made hardcore what it is. Like, man, I can't because it's the community. It's absolutely 100% the community that made hardcore what it is. But if I want to throw out a few, I think it would be the women of the OG mod team, right? It was me and Alenia and Loretta and Apricot. And it just I don't think that's the only reason, but I do think that's a little bit of the reason that it kept from becoming as toxic as gaming communities often can. Hardcore, especially back in the early days, was like the least toxic gaming community you can imagine. And then as we got further on, the tech guys, absolutely 100%. The tech guys, Navik and Brandon and Zane and Yazpat and Rizuko and Blenderer. And there's probably some I'm forgetting, but all the people that wrote the add on and made the website and the leaderboards and all that. And then it's all the little streamers that became just kind of a tight knit group, right? We had Night Shift with me and Nebulous. And gosh, who else was on Night Shift? Fenaria. Oh my gosh, hardcore wouldn't be hardcore without Fenaria. She's a WoW encyclopedia. Incredible. Terrell. Terrell Bratt is Fun's duo partner. in hardcore, and you always see them together, and they just the way they play off each other is so much fun to watch. Who else? Met Hero Vision. Hero's one of the first streamers I watched outside that variety streamer I knew personally, right? And oh my lord. He was always playing so much more aggressively than I did, and I learned a lot. Yeah. So yeah, it's the community. It's the community that made hardcore. So anyway, in August of 2020, by now I've been playing a while. I got a few deaths under my belt. And I was at work and bored, and I'm just processing like an entire bucket of roses. I don't even remember why in August, but I was. And Cargos did a stream. So I stuck my little earbud in, tucked it under my hair, hiding out, right? Listening to his State of the Guild stream because by August, we were hitting the 1,000 character cap for both guilds. There was one guild on each side, one alliance, one horde. But we were hitting the 1,000 character cap and having to boot people that had been inactive for 2, 3, 4 days. Not long. Not long at all. So he said, we're going to have to split the guilds. And so after, I DM'd him and said, look, I've been an officer in a retail guild for over 10 years. If you need like a GM, if you need advice, if you need this, an officer, that, whatever, let me know. No answer, no answer, no answer. Cargo's busy guy, I get it. And then I woke up the next morning and said, thanks for offering your talents, Jordana. You're a moderator. Sir, I did not ask for that. I just wanted to help out in game. But oh my gosh, I'm so glad he did. I'm so glad he did. It's been one of the most incredible experiences of my whole life being part of this. For sure. And so back in those days, everything was done in mod chat, all the discussions, all the appeals, all just everything. The first thing I took part in was deciding the level cap to split the guilds. Crix. Crix is impulsive. I adore Crix. Said, all right, it's done. I'm not listening to y'all talking anymore. It's done. 25. The level cap is 25. I split the guilds. I said, all right. That works. Because it was a lot of back and forth on that. What else was different back then? Bank alts. We did experiment with bank alts for a little bit. It was the AQ Gates event was going on, the war effort. And so you'd get greens that, your character couldn't use, and nobody went enchanting because it's really difficult. It's the only profession that's just incredibly difficult. Not impossible, but incredibly difficult to do a solo self-found. And so we said, well, okay. You can't trade money, but you can trade if you find a piece of gear that's good for your alt. You can have a bank alt to do that back move. Man, people were doing all kinds of mess with that. So that was very short lived because it ended up making stuff too easy. It just ended up making it too easy because you'd be kitted out. Might as well use the auction house, right? Because you'd have one character just go and farm everything. No good, no good at all. So let's see. Hardcore nightmares. Hardcore nightmares. Oh yeah, those are a thing. Those are a thing. Mine are always the same. They're always the same. The character varies. The manner of death varies, but it's always there's a timer counting down on the screen, and no matter what I do, the character dies when it hits 0. Right? Nothing I can do about. I'm not going to psychoanalyze that. I could, but I don't think I want to. I think the very first one, and this was long before I actually hit 40. So I didn't even have a mount, but I was dreaming that I had a mount. And I always play Alliance. I was dreaming that I was playing Horde. And I was running through the Barrens on my mount. The timer hit 0. I took my hands off the keyboard thinking that would stop it. Horse jumped off a cliff. Just poop. Always. Right? So, some of the big names, like the big names, no doubt, were tremendously important in hardcore. Cargos, I, none of this would have happened without him, and I think everybody knows that, right? But without knowing it and without trying to, Cargos changed my life. In 40 something years, nobody had ever said, I believe in you. You can do it. I see how hard you're working. And so I came into the mod team saying, oh, I'm the people person. I don't know anything about tech stuff. I'm just going to be the people person. I've done guilds. I know how to do that. But somebody believing in me in just these tiny ways made me realize I can do hard stuff. And I ended up signing up for a coding boot camp and ended up actually, by now, 5 years later, I couldn't complete the program. I got very sick. But by now, I am the tech officer. And I helped code the anti-grief parts of the add-on. And Cargos was the first in line to volunteer. When I said, hey, I need somebody to help me test this, somebody come kill my test character. Cargos was like, hell yeah. And just, yeah, it changed my life. Hardcore changed my life. Just did. And that was the other thing. Did I think hardcore was going to get this big? No. No, I was very excited when we hit 5,000, 10,000, whatever. And Cargos said more than once, can you imagine? They'll never do it, but what if? What if Blizzard made hardcore servers and you could walk into Stormwind and know that every character you saw had never died? I thought that's crazy. I thought that'd be incredible. And it is. It is incredible to walk into Stormwind and all those hundreds and hundreds of characters. None of them have died if you're on a hardcore server to anything. Unbelievable. Other key moments. Graze for Days. Graze for Days is such an incredible entertainer. I remember he was the first ding party I went to. We used to have parties back in the day because there were so few people hitting 60. There were so few people playing. So if you hit 60, it was a massive deal, and the community showed up. I had a horde character for some reason, and so I ran it to Bloodhoof Village where he was, we just lined up and watching him on stream while we're lining up, turning in that last quest. And he just walked through as we all, all our characters knelt down and just gave an incredible speech that I don't remember a whole lot of, but the part I remember that mattered to me, and we're coming back to this again, is that he was so inclusive. Druid brothers and sisters, join me, and just everything. Thank you, because all the other streamers keep saying, let's go, boys. But it's all of us. It's all of us out here playing, right? It's the community. Winky. Oh my god, I love Winky. He's just somebody you can talk to, honestly. Plus, he's hilarious. Plus, he used to do power hours on stream. He'd go turn off the smoke detector, turn on the fog machine, just start pumping the music. Everybody typing in all caps, and we're just power hours were the best, man. It had an intro and everything. I missed that. Winky, bring back power hour. Wow. Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happened. Man. Late night, we'd all find each other with the death equals delete. Even during the day, I think that's how you'd find people. Death equals delete. You'd put it in your stream title and everybody knew. Right? So, we eventually get through to February of 2021. The blessed run, man. the blessed run. I finally, after a year, thing 60 on a Warlock, and it just, man, dealing with the pandemic and having health issues and being in a job that had me dealing with the public, the whole thing was so incredibly rough. It was just terrible for my mental health, but hardcore kept me going. And dinging 60 just, whew, it was everything. And so, further along in 2021, Grays and Cargos and them start talking about what eventually became known as Road to Ragnaros, right? Could we do it? Is it even possible? Is it even possible to raid Molten Core as one life characters? And somehow, some way, they ended up deciding to do it on the new seasonal servers that Blizzard was going to launch. I say I don't know how, I do know. But anyway, they decided in conversations with other entities that, yeah, let's do it on Season of Mastery. I remember watching some of the streamers on the beta trying Molten Core, right? And the game master's coming in and saying, hey, go back. We're going to reset this boss. We're going to retune it. Go back. It's reset. Go do it again. And it was just. That's when I got the first hint that this actually could become what it is now, right? Walking in Ironforge up to that NPC they put in where you could get your Soul of Iron buff. Unbelievable. And so, yeah, I very much wanted to play in Road to Ragnaros, but I'm kind of a slow leveler, and I got handed 2 or 3 new jobs literally the week before. Like I said, I became the tech person because somebody believed in me, and I realized I can do the hard things. I can learn this stuff, right? So I was one of 4 people pushing the updates on the Streamer Draft Live to the website. There were only 4 of us that could do it, and it became just a second full-time job. I would go to work, I'd come home, grab some dinner, sit down in front of my computer. Hello, Varian. And I'd go to work, come home, grab some dinner, sit down in front of my computer, and go around to all the streams and all the VODs and say, okay, what level are you? What dungeons did you run today? You know, what's new? What are you planning to run? Are you still alive? Because everybody could update the spreadsheet. Not many people did update their spreadsheet, so I can go update it, push it. There was somebody on EU doing the opposite shift as me, and that was pretty much it, right? In addition, it was literally the night before Cargos pinged me and Alenia and said, hey, y'all have such good synergy. You two are running Bravo. Right. I feel like he didn't watch the clip where my synergy with Alenia was doing gnome inspections in Goldshire. Anyway, we have very much gotten off track here. But yeah, no, maybe we haven't. That is really, I think, all the questions. What I want to say to hardcore, try it solo self found. Try it. That's the real challenge. Try it. The hardcore servers where it's, anything goes except don't die is really, really cool. Incredible that that has happened. But try it solo self found. It's worth it. You'll be glad. You never know. It may change your life too.